Hey everyone, so I just want to announce that I now have a Discord server that's been out for a few days now. Most of you have probably already heard about it, but just in case you haven't, I'll just be announcing it in this video. I'll post the invite link in the description as well as in the pinned comment. And so yeah, please consider joining my Discord server. There will be, probably giveaways, mini comps, and just a lot of Cuban discussion going on in general. And so yeah, without further ado, let's just get into these solves. Today I'll be reconstructing my 596 square one average, which is my first sub 6 average, which I'm really happy about. So yeah. Okay. So my first solve was a 591, and my cube shape is 231, and then a line on the bottom. And I traced even, so pretty much I'm just going to solve scallop scallop like normal. So I'll do a Y2 rotation. I'll pair this line up with this pawn, and then I just can I can pair this pair up with this pair, and just solve scallop scallop like so. Then I have this nice 2-slice CO, solve like so. Pretty nice EO. And then here I'll do a U prime, and I just know from kind of like personal experience, just doing a bunch of solves, that if I have GB and then GA, doing JJ will give me the good U perms, just without any misalignments like this. And so yeah, then I'll recognize the U perms, align them, and then predict the AUF like this. And so this was a 591, 20 slices, and 3.38 SPS, which surprisingly was actually the worst SPS of the 5 solves in this average. So yeah, really happy with this solve. Okay. So my second solve was a 581 with right pawn barrel as my cube shape, and I traced odds, so pretty much I'm just going to pair this pair up with the pawn, and then I can just solve scallop kite into the front like so. Then I have this easy 2-slice CO. I'll misalign the bottom, solve it like this. 1-1 EO. And here I have GB and then an A perm on the bottom. And so I have two ways of going about this PBL case. One of them is just to do 2 CP PBL. So pretty much I'm just gonna bring the headlights in front, misalign it, misalign the apron like this, do JJ, and I got JN like this. That's definitely not a bad solution, although I think the slightly better solution would be to do just JJ regularly, just regular CP and then EP. Just because with 2 CP PBL, it's just harder to kind of like, it's harder to recognize, it's harder to kind of figure out where I have to align the two faces, if that makes sense. So I think, yeah, doing the just CP EP was just slightly faster, and that's what I ended up doing. And so as a result, I got a 581, 22 slices, and 379 SPS, which honestly I couldn't have asked for any better on this solve. So yeah, really solid solve. Solve 3 was a 6.16 with L222 as my cube shape. Pretty much, I'm just going to pair this L up, like so, move this 3 out of the way, and then I have 1 slice in a shield square. Next up, I have this 1 slice CO into just LL for my EO. And then here, I have a G perm on bottom, and I'm just going to make sure that I preserve this bar, because if I don't, I'm going to get an H perm, and I don't want an H perm, I want a U perm. And what makes this case even better is that I have an F perm on top, so depending on how I misalign this, I can force good U perms. And for this specific case, I'm going to misalign the F perm so that I can get good U perms. I'll just do a U prime. And then the way I'd execute this is sort of, I'll do 1 slice, sort of pinch on this corner, like this. And then I'm going to just solve it regularly, canceling into a bar flip, like so. And I think the execution, especially during like the CP EP stage, was really nice. And as a result, I got a 21 slice solution with 3.41 SPS, which is once again another really, really solid solve. Solve number 4 was a 640 with opposite fists as my cube shape. And so I'm just going to solve this by doing one slice to shield kite. And the way I executed this isn't the best, in my opinion. Pretty much I did sort of like this pinch finger trick that it's similar to like the one from the last solve with the good U-perms. So yeah, I did that, and then just solve shield kite regriplessly. I think in theory it's a pretty decent way to finger trick this cube shape. It's just that I ended up locking up pretty badly. It cost me a little bit of time, and I don't think it's the ideal way of solving it. So, but regardless, I ended up going into CO, which was just 2 slices like so. Then I realized at this point that all my corners are solved, and so once I did my 1-1 EO alg, I would just have an EP to solve. So I just do 1-1, and then I have UZ. I think the best way to solve it is to do maybe this adj alg, and then I just have adj in the back. That would have saved me like a few U and D moves, but instead I ended up doing like U prime D back adj, and then U2 D prime back adj, and so yeah, I definitely could have saved like a few U and D moves by doing just like this front adj and then back adj. But regardless, I still ended up executing the EP pretty flawlessly, and as a result, I had a 22 slice solution with 3.44 SPS. And so this solve, despite the bad EP alg and the weird cube shape execution, it was still a really nice solve. So yeah. Yes. The last solve of the 596 average was a 559. And so I traced odd, and pretty much I'm just gonna bring this pair up, move this L over, and then just solve pon to the back. Next I have this nice 2 slice CO, and I'll do like U2 D2, and then 1-1. There's probably a better alg for 1-1 that would have saved me that U2 D2, but I don't know that, and so I ended up doing the U2 D2 and then the standard 1-1 alg. Next up, I'll do a U2 D, and so I have PJ on the bottom, and so if I do JJ, I'll get adjacent on the bottom, and on the top, I'm going to leave it aligned to get adjacent, just because you'll see that if I misalign the P on top, I'll be preserving this sort of opposite block, and I don't want opposite adjacent. You'll see that if I do JJ, I'll get op adj, which is definitely not nearly as good as just adj. And so from here, I'll just do front adj, and then just a U2, and finish the cube. And so that was a 559. It was a full step solve, and despite like some of the steps being pretty easy, especially PBL, it was still a really nice solve. I think it was like 21 slices and 3.76 SPS. And so this solve was pretty much flawless for me. I think the AUF might have been a little shaky at the end, but regardless, it was still a really nice solve for me. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. Once again, if you haven't joined my Discord server, I'm not forcing you to, but please consider joining it. And yeah, I think just as like a fun statistic, I think the average SPS of all 5 solves was 3.56. And so I think for that reason, I can't really consider this average to be much of a fluke. And so I'm really, really proud of this average. I finally got sub 6. And so, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.